I'm going to be about it. I'm going to be about it for all my Ohio friends out there. And that's not using the shortened version of their school name to try and troll them. I'm talking about the state of Ohio, is to be happy with what you have, okay? Because that was, I guess, one of our most watched videos of the week was earlier this week of me. It was born out of just a listener calling into the show saying, what's the plan B if Baker's not the plan A? What's the plan B? And my point was a great question, because plan B is not signing him long term and going back into that mosh pit of finding your next quarterback, finding your franchise face. And Baker always gets a bunch of crap because he hasn't had any seasons like Josh Allen's put together last year. And Josh is, stumbling a bit here so far in the month of November. Hasn't had a season like Lamar Jackson winning an MVP award. And those are guys who are in his draft class. And he was the first one taken. And that adds quite a bit to it. And so there are reasons to criticize the guy, but to boo him and basically say we want him, we're done with him, I think you're crazy if you're saying that with Cleveland. And I do want to say, like, the responses I got when, Chris, I had you read out the list of quarterbacks, that's been burned into Joe Thomas's memory because he had a Hall of Fame career blocking for all of these guys. And it's a very long list. Right? Wasn't there a Browns fan, a famous photograph of a Browns jersey where somebody had all the names just draped down the back like it was a cape from the nameplate on down? So that was my point. Like, I'm not saying that you're definitely going to get that if you go away from Baker, and that you should accept Baker Mayfield and all of his warts, because he does have them. I mean, he airmails receivers. Sometimes he's inconsistent, but the other times, like, when Odell's dad sends out all that film, how do you know Odell wasn't in the wrong spot? How do you know that Odell, despite being open, wasn't doing what he was supposed to be doing? And that's an issue too. How do we know that? Right? So my point on Baker is, be happy with who you've got when you got him, because he might be better than the alternative. And I'm not saying you should accept mediocrity from that. I'm just saying enjoy what you have, because it's better than what you've had. And it can lead to what you want in a better way that perhaps somebody else might not. So I'm going into this Michigan-Ohio State weekend saying this. 2 versus 5, right, Chris? Is that what you said?
2 versus 5.
Winner goes to the Big Ten championship game, correct?
I would say winner goes to the college football playoff.
Well, let's take one step at a time here. I don't want to, because there is a Big Ten championship game in Indianapolis that's going down a week from Saturday.
Formality.
So the winner of this game has a very good shot to make the Final Four and go play for the national championship, right?
More probable than not.
Okay. And that Michigan has 10 wins right now, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So when was the last time I've been able to say this into a microphone on this show? 16, 15? Something like that. It's been a while.
Jim's first year, right?
It's all kind of been washed out of my memory banks, to be very honest with you. But the Ohio State game has been a major problem and bugaboo and nightmare, and maybe again this Saturday. But I have thoroughly loved this season. I have thoroughly loved watching this team play the way that they have. I have fallen in love with so many of these players, as opposed to be wondering, why don't we have players that can run away from defenses like Eric All did against Penn State, who signed their coach to a 10-year contract? Mm-hmm. I'm going to take this one in, that this Saturday means this much, that we aren't in the, well, it was a 2-3 loss season, but at least we can win our Super Bowl, make it all right by winning this one game. No, winning this one game means we get to where we were hoping we'd get to repeatedly when Harbaugh first took the job. We're in position. We're in launch position, which Michigan has not been in a while. So I'm going to be consistent and say, like I've been telling Browns fans, enjoy what you have right there in front of you. It can be disappointing, and I'm not saying that you need to accept something that isn't what you had hoped for. I'm saying that it can still lead to what you hoped for. It can disappoint you in the long run and in the end, but what's the alternative? The alternative for me has been the Ohio State game the last several years. You know, I guess the one that they played in Ohio State when Devin Bush was at Michigan after they stomped on the Devin Bush stomped on the Michigan State logo. Yeah. That was a couple of years ago, and then they got boat raced. But that wasn't for all the marbles like this. Top 5 team, 10-win team. I'll take it. Hopefully Saturday will be what I'm telling Browns fans Baker Mayfield could be. You know. And I'll tell all the Ohio State fans that if my Harbaugh's weekend gets wrecked, maybe you can wreck the other ones on Sunday night. But if one Harbaugh has to be happy for us, I think I'll just take Jim right now. Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.